implementation can only be done if our skill, knowledge, information are updated, fine-tuned. So keeping and considering this aspect, National Water Mission has been supporting us. In fact, they are instrumental in organizing this webinar-based training program. And I think this training program commenced from 22nd January. And till date, I think we have completed 10 such training programs. So we are almost at the last lap of this training program. But let me share with you that experience has been extremely overwhelming. And the feedback which I'm getting from field, that really, it says a lot about this training program. People are getting knowledge. They are being given lots of information on various aspects of this project. And once they are getting skilled, later on, their approach, perception, and perspective while taking up the program is extremely positive. So I'll not take much of time, but before handing over the session to respected Sri Ashok Kumar ji, let me share with all of you, particularly the officers of NYKS, that Ashok sir has been very, very kind to support us, and he's consistently, despite his busy schedule, giving us directions, and whenever we require any kind of help, sustenance, or advice from him, he is always available. So Ashok sir, thanks a lot. We are extremely thankful that your support is with us, and I can assure you that with the support of our officers, we'll try our best to realize whatever you expect from us. So thank you, sir. Have a nice time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhat. Good afternoon, sir. Please guide us on the vision of GOI and what this organization, National Water Mission, is intended to do, and what kind of a support is expected from the people as well as NYKS. So please lay the context for us and guide our way.
The stage today is Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur.
From
yes, sir.
From Sikkim.
Sikkim, and then Assam.
Yes, sir.
Meghalaya is also.
No, Meghalaya is.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Prabhat Kumarji, and all the participants of this conference. I welcome you to this wonderful experience. We have been doing it since January 22nd. We had been talking to all the state coordinators and deputy directors and district youth coordinators from various parts of the country. It was a very good experience. As Prabhat Kumarji was telling, this is a wonderful learning for all of us, and it was actually very challenging also to get the message across. So, since it is Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Assam, and northeastern states, I think I'll stick on to English only. So this the discussions will be happening in Hindi. So I'll speak in Hindi. In English. So welcome, friends, to this webinar. What we are intending you to today is to actually reinforce many of the things you know. All of you are well versed in this topic, so we thought of reinforcing you, and you being from the states which have generally not faced much of water problem. So this could sometimes some things may sound very out of place for you, but then it's better to understand the nuances of the campaign than just go around without any orientation. You people in the northeast and north are very fortunate to get good rainfalls, because we had, therefore, yesterday the states of Rajasthan and Punjab and other parts of the western parts of the country. The deputy directors and the district coordinators of those states were present, where the rainfall is about 100 mm, 115 mm, per year. And the other extreme, the people in the states of northeastern states, Andamans and all, they get about 3,000 mm rainfall. So that's the type of variation in this country. And people who get very less rainfall are very, very conscious about the value of water. The people in Rajasthan, they used to say how much times how many kilometers they walk to get a pot of water and how preciously they conserve each drop of water because because of the non-availability of good water. So there, the women of the village probably walk 3-4 kilometers, 5 kilometers to get water. And there, women folk used to be engaged in getting water on their heads, walking through the deserted areas, and their cattle does not have sufficient water to drink. So it's and the entire vegetation and agriculture is of a different nature, taking on water, on crops which require less water. So, and they use the water multiple times. This is called the multiple use of water. The classic example is you can use the water from an RO, or just for example, I'm telling, that can be used, the reject water of the ROs, from the ROs, which is about 60 to 70% of the water which we input the RO side. That can be used for washing the vegetables, washing the fruits. Then we can use it for mopping the floor, and then we can use it for watering the plants. So this is 3 times use of one liter of water. The same water can be used 3 times. That's the type of water scarcity these people face, and people from Assam, Sikkim, Northeast, they are so fortuitous that they have sufficient good water. But in one of our programs which we have with the district magistrates and collectors, we had one year from Gopalpura in Assam. We had people that some DMs from Manipur and Tripura, and also from Sikkim, ADM, she was there. So, then they were telling about the specific issues you have. So, see, the problem is you get a lot of water, but then the water runs off very fast. So, there is a separate type of water conservation concept which has to be evolved. And the Honorable Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, Sri Kiranji, when he Kiran Rijiju, when he inaugurated, he launched this Catch the Rain Awareness Generation campaign with the Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan on 21st of December 2020, last year in Delhi. He was telling about the problem which he used to face as a youngster, because he said we had a problem of plenty. In Arunachal Pradesh, we have so much of water, so much of rain, so we used to be having problem of plenty of water, then shortage of water. So how to handle so much of water, that was the issue. Because every time we get so much rainfall, we get so much of water, so many places we flooded with water. And the great mighty Ganga Brahmaputra flows through Arunachal Pradesh. So the problem is of plentiness of water in these are the areas. But they also said that in some of the districts, when the summer comes, you have the drinking water shortage. So Catch the Rain campaign is basically to address the issue of shortage of water during summers. We say that in the rainy season, we get plenty of water, and it actually goes out as floods because no mechanism is there to catch the water. We only save about 7 to 8% of water which we get, and rest goes as floods down the Brahmaputra, creating floods down the rivers and all the areas of the country where the floods happen during the rainy season, and then it flows down to the sea and gets lost without any use to the people. And after 5 months, when the summer sets in, you have a lot of problem of drinking water issues. So we have to fall back on tankers, where some ruthless elements sell water 50 rupees or 60 rupees worth water for 800, 900 rupees in tankers and make a lot of money and profiteering out of it, and creating a lot of mystery for the people. So to address this issue, only we started this campaign. The campaign in one sentence is catch the rain where it falls, when it falls. So it's basically a decentralized storage of water. And we say that catch the rain where it falls, when it falls, is to nudge the stakeholders. That means all of you, all the stakeholders who are directed, who use water. There's no single person in the water in the world who is not using water. So all of us are stakeholders in that matter. So everybody, every child, every mother, every father, every member of the family, all those who use water are actually stakeholders. So it is basically to nudge all stakeholders to conserve, to create rainwater harvesting structures, conserve and save water, which are the structure should be appropriate to your conditions of like means your agriculture, your soil conditions and the atmospheric conditions, and with active participation of the people. This is the catch the rain campaign in one line. This involves one, first making the people understand the value of water. When you get so much, when you get plenty, you may not understand the value. So ask the people, as I said, from Rajasthan, how each bottle of or each pot of water is so precious to them. So, when you have in plenty, probably you not understand the value of water. Like in Delhi, we all breathe air. We have no problem. Everybody, air is available free for us. Everybody breathes. And then, when the pollution was so high in Delhi, when the people found it very difficult to breathe because of the high particle matters in Delhi during the winter season last year. There were people who were actually trying to get oxygen bottles. The air was being sold in bottles. That then it is surprising for us that air was also we purchased. The same thing happened 50 years back in 80s and 90s. People, if they said that we'll be buying a bottle of water and using for bringing purpose, people would have been surprised. That would have been the most idiotic business model at that time. But then one company started selling water in a bottle, and now everywhere we are now using bottled water because the availability of water has gone down, and we have to depend on these bottled waters to drink. So this is a change which happened in 40 years. And course of what business is being run on bottled water, because we have to give bottled water for many people to drink in the country. So that is the change of scenario over the years. You people, the people from the brothers and sisters in the northeastern part of the eastern part of the country may not be facing such shortage of water, but then they also should preserve the water, and so that they understand the value of water and use it properly. Arunachal Pradesh is blessed with a lot of water bodies. Big mighty Brahmaputra flows there, then tremendous potential of hydroelectric power, and because of the volume of water which flows through that place. And the new cultivation pattern has also emerged, and I'm very happy to say that Arunachal Pradesh was the first state to prepare a state-specific action plan for the budgeting of water, which we have been planning for quite some time. Now, having said that, the campaign which we have started, Catch the Rain Where It Falls, is basically to decentralize the storage of the saving of water, so that we don't create big dams to store the water and use it. So that was the old concept, where we thought that all this water in the watershed and all, we can collect it and store it in a big dam. India has about 5,600 dams, and this water from that big dam can be utilized for irrigation purposes and all. But that model has changed, whereas because the dam involves a lot of construction, lot of cost for maintenance, lot of area submergence, lot of environmental issues, displacement of people, and untold miseries, and it doesn't deliver what actually it is promised. So the best way is we have now realized, is to store water in your own place. This is where it falls. So it is a decentralized storing of water. It is something like a reverse of crowdsourcing. All of you have heard of crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing or crowdfunding is like that. If everybody, 100 people put 10 rupees each, it will become 1,000 rupees. It is the opposite of it. The 1,000 rupees, it is distributed to 100 people and everybody stores 10 rupees. So it is a comfortable 10 rupees, everybody having it. Very comfortable store that. So it's like that. What happens otherwise, if there's a huge collection of water because of the rains falling and not collected, all will go to a low-lying area and gets it flooded and submerge that area, creates havoc to that property there, floods the houses there, and creates misery for the people. Instead of that, if this water which is collecting there is stored at individual houses or individual plots where it comes to that place, then the floods can be avoided. And the havoc which is caused by this high volume of water can be avoided. That's the concept of crowd saving. Everybody stores the water which falls in their area and stores there so that they can use the water from there. This has multiple advantages. It will increase your water table in your area. Your water table goes up, and I don't think there's a problem in these parts of the country where you are from. Water table will be sufficiently high. Still, nevertheless, the Golpara collective was telling about Varnali was telling that there are places where the water table has gone down in some of the areas of Assam also. He stores this water so that your water table increases. The cost required for pumping of this water also comes down because as the water table increases, the energy requirement to pump out water also reduces. The cost of running the motor decreases. Your vegetation increase, and as I said, it also helps you in reducing the impacts of flood. You are Assam and all are lots of floods available, and many years we have seen photographs of the rhinoceros in Khajuraho and in Kaziranga Park and all getting affected, animals getting affected. All these are because lot of water flows in from different parts and comes to that low-lying area and floods that area. If we can let the water be stored in small locations, in small pukurs and small water bodies along the way, this large bulk of water coming can be prevented, and we also help us in retaining the water moisture in the area where it flows. The concept is flowing water should be made to, running water should be made to walk, the walking water should be stopped, and then slowly water sinks down. This is one major problem in the states like Manipur and other Sikkim because of the high slopes. I had the fortune of being in Sikkim for about 2 months as an election observer in 2014. I was there moving around entire parts of the country. Very nice, beautiful place, very clean, extremely receptive people, very focused and very committed people. They are the first state to become a totally organic state. The rhododendrons and all others are very beautiful place they have. So, but they had some problem because of the heavy steepness of the slope. Rainwater used to run very fast and disappear. So the rainfall you get it, instead of getting stored, it runs off very fast and causing a lot of landslides. Landslide also can be avoided if this raining water is made to slowly flow down. It sinks to the ground and it increases your water table and also helps you in increasing the soil moisture and also helps you in cultivation. So this is the concept which we are using. So my request to all of you is this campaign has picked up well. Prabhat Kumarji and all your other Nehru Yuva Kendra Sansthan, the eyes and ears have become the eyes, ears and legs and arms of the National Water Mission to spread the message of this concept of catching the rain. Every districts, every state, we have got very good information on the activities being done. So 1 or 2 points only which I will request all of you to do, and the technical sessions will cover other technical aspects of it. Madam Jasya ji is here, and Sunil ji will talk about the voting part, and Garima will talk about the IEC. Those things will be out. I just wanted to have talk couple of points with you, what you should do. One is that I know most of the DMs are very busy. They have so many other things, COVID vaccination, all these are happening. They have a lot of activities to be done, but you should meet them. I have also written about 3-4 letters to the collectors, to the DMs, deputy commissioners, on the water harvesting structure, on the Castellane campaign. Our minister, Sri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji, had written to all the chief ministers. Our secretary, former secretary UP Singh, also written to the chief secretaries of the states regarding the Castellane campaign. What we have requested them is, see that your collectors and the state district administration is involved in this campaign to make it as a mass movement. So our idea is that this should be a mass movement. That exactly meant by when the Prime Minister says that Jal Andolan should be a Jan Andolan. The water issue, it should become a people's movement and to conserve and store water. What you should do, you should meet the DM and try to get a second in command or ADM nominated to look after this issue, and you interact with them very regularly. Involve the sarpanchas, local religious leaders, your village pradhans, your sarpanchas, your Jilla Parishad members, MLAs, MPs, all should be involved in this program. That's one. Your local celebrities who are there, they can be involved. Your the religious leaders in Northeast and all, they have a lot of influence. They should be involved in this. All of them should be part of this campaign. Second is, you should do a lot of IEC activities like wall writings or social media campaigns, because most of these people they are very conversant with social media. So using tweets and Facebook posts, you please spread this message. Twitter, we should make this as a trending. Catch the rain. Our tagline is catch the rain / hashtag is catch the rain. You use that and make it trending so that it becomes a mass movement. You retweet the tweets which we are making, and we also will retweet if we are using this catch the rain hashtag. That way it can move on very well. Facebooks, you can put it. You can also request the district administration to enumerate and mark all the water bodies in your areas. Try to remove the encroachments from them. Try to see that the channels which bring water to these water bodies are cleared of encroachment, so that the water can freely flow down to this water body. You can increase the depth of this water body by desilting. You can use the old the wells and other unused bores and all to get down the water to the aquifer. These are all small interventions. You can develop the wetlands, preserve the wetlands by removing encroachments and seeing that the water, it's a lot of water can be stored in wetlands. These are the type of activities which we are looking at. I'm stopping it almost 20 minutes now. So I wish all of you a wonderful campaign, and I hope that you will all join us and make this campaign a very big success. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, should we follow yesterday? Because what happened?
We can go. Yes, so one person can speak anyway, no problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because getting feedback from friends, I think yes, thank you. Okay. Sir wants to know the experience of some of our district youth officers who are implementing this Catch the Rain project in their district.
We have it only for 4 or 5 minutes, then we go for training. So
okay.
4 minutes.
So what I'll do, I'll invite Dr. Salam. Dr. Salam, गरिमा मैडम, मिस्टर सलाम, डॉक्टर सलाम का अनम्यूट कर दें आप.
डॉक्टर सलाम, आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर सकेंगे, मैंने आपको राइट दे दी है.
Yes. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Dr. Salam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Okay, Dr. Salam, sir,
Am I audible, sir?
yes, absolutely, crystal clear. What I'm saying that sir just wants to know, because you have been, executing this project in the field. You have been very, very excellent officer of NYKS. So I think it will be better if you can share your experience while implementing this project. Your interaction with your administration, and of course while you are implementing at the field level. So please share your experience.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, so far in Manipur, and in particular my district, Bishnupur.
Soil Akhtar sir is handling this. Who is he handling the water resources?
Sorry, sir.
Who is handling water resources in Manipur? This is Soil Akhtar.
Yeah, this is under soil. This is under soil department, sir.
Okay, fine. Please.
Sorry, sir. It should be PhD, sir. PhD, Public Health Engineering Department.
Devish Dayal.
So, sir, so far the experience in Manipur, in all the districts, we have already launched very successfully, and all the DCs were involved, and all the deputy commissioner of our district actively participating, and while inaugurating, they were very excited and very cooperative. And as of now, sir, we are just doing the motivational campaign. Many of them are doing on the field, on the ground practically, and also through webinar. And out of that, we are also picking up these other campaigns such as IEC material handout, these handout pamphlets we are distributing, and we are also developing a certain poster kind of thing which carry the message of this issue on the rainwater conservation. We are doing very well, sir, and at the same time, the concerned department in the district, the PhD, Public Health Engineering Department, they are also cooperating. Mainly, the DCs are, Deputy Commissioner are regularly keeping in touch, and they are also advising all the line department in the district to cooperate and to take part very actively. And since the information is already gone through the highest level of the state government, all the DCs are also very cooperating, sir, as of now. And youths are taking out very taking part very actively. And at the same time, sir, people's response are very good, especially the farmer section. The farming section are very much enthusiastic to take on the project. And quite many times we, in this very short time of implementation, what we experience is these farmers, especially the farming community, they are asking like the methodology, the practical kind of, sir, this cleaning the ponds and cleaning the water bodies. So on that area, we just try to convince them. The first stage is our motivation and awareness, the issue. And the second phase, hopefully, certain instruction and guidelines like them. Since state government is also supposed to be fully involved in these activities, I hope something will be very visible before the monsoon arrive in the state, sir. That's what we are going on very actively, sir.
Thank you, Salam. Very nice, very nice.
Salam,
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody from Assam.
Sorry?
There is some echo. I request somebody from Assam. Anybody from Assam?
प्रभात जी पहले फाजिया मैम का सेशन कर लेते हैं because she has to go because
Okay. No problem. Please go ahead.
Yes. Fazia ma'am, now I would request you to please take the stage and guide us on the effective modes and the current situation and how we can try to get out of this before it's too late. As a situation, I mean.
Thank you very much, Garima. Thanks a lot, Ashok sir, for laying the context.
I will stop you for 1 minute. This is for all the participants. Fazia ma'am will give the session, and in case you have any questions for her, you can keep writing it on the chat box. And after the session, we will take the question. But in between, I request you to kindly do not message me and request me to either unmute you or turn on the video, it basically disrupts the whole session. So there will be a question answer round after every session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Sorry.
No, perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Garima. Thank you very much, Ashok sir, for laying the context and explaining everything in detail. So, yes, there is a request on speaking on Jal Jeevan Mission and Catch the Rain. I will definitely speak. During the course of my presentation, I would be talking about both the programs, Jal Jeevan Mission as well as Catch the Rain program, so that you get an idea about that as well. Good afternoon once again, everyone, and welcome to this campaign, this mission that we have all started together on catching the rain where it falls, when it falls. Just wanted to share, I was listening to all of you and all the great initiatives that is being done in the Northeast. Also, as Sir said, Northeast is blessed with a lot of rain. Then why is it that we are also experiencing water issues and drought there? And again, Northeast is one region of India, just like all other regions. They have had brilliant and very time-tested traditional water management practices as well. Also wanted to share with you that today is the second last training that we are doing. So we have already done, as Prabhat sir mentioned, that we have already completed, today is the 10th training that we are doing with different parts of the Nehru Yuva Kendra across India. And just wanted to share that already there are people who are getting in touch with us. In fact, I have received from Bihar, there were 2 people who reached out to me from Bihar for different information related to publicity in terms of water saving behavior, posters, banners, and I've been able to really help them out with that. And then I had someone from Jaipur who reached out, not at Jaipur, sorry, Ajmer, who reached out to me. And so he wanted to do some training program for his youth volunteers, and he wanted some resource persons, local, who understands the local context very well. Been able to mail some names of some resource persons to him as well yesterday. And yesterday I also got a call from Delhi Nehru Yuva Kendra office. And in fact, this morning also they spoke with me, and they want to do training for 80 of their youth volunteers. Next week itself, they're requesting for Monday, maybe I'll see, but early next week I'll definitely try to give them time, a 2 hours training in person with their fellows. So the response that we are receiving is, let me tell you, is very, very rewarding and heartening to see that people are already quite motivated to take action. So with that, I'll just try to share my presentation because we are sort of slightly short of time today. So I'll quickly shift to my presentation, and I'll also be taking just give me a second. I'll also be taking the question that has come on while I am sort of presenting. I'll also be talking about that. So generally, there would be clarity on that as well. I'm hoping you can see my screen. And let me just move further. So the Catch the Rain program that is there, where it falls, when it falls, it is actually a part of Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So now what is Jal Shakti Abhiyan? So in 2019, when the Jal Shakti Mantralaya was instituted, it was formulated by combining 2 separate ministries. So it was Ministry of Water Resources, which got combined with Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, and the Jal Shakti Mantralaya was constituted. Under that, now these 2 have become 2 departments. So instead of being ministries, they are departments, and the ministry is Jal Shakti Mantralaya. So when it was formed in 2019, they started with Jal Shakti Abhiyan. And Jal Shakti Abhiyan is actually, the whole objective behind that was to harvest the rain during the monsoon season from July to September in northern part of the country, and in October, November, when we have the retreating monsoon for us, so for the southern part of the country. And Jal Shakti Abhiyan had 5 pillars. So the first pillar of Jal Shakti Abhiyan was water conservation and rainwater harvesting. So water conservation in terms of different ways you can do it. You can do water conservation in terms of taking up, choosing the right crop, You can also do it by agriculture, water efficient agriculture practices like drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and also mulching, conservation agriculture. So there's various ways in which you can actually conserve water. And then rainwater harvesting, which could be a rooftop rainwater harvesting that you do. And after harvesting it from the roof, you store it on the surface or you inject it into the groundwater through different mechanisms. We'll talk about it. And also, you can do open area rainwater harvesting, where you have a catchment, as one gentleman was mentioning about Manipur, and he said that farmers are motivated to dig ponds. So basically, the purpose of these ponds is that you have a catchment, that is, you have identified around the pond from where the water is going to come into the pond and get stored. So this was the first pillar. The second pillar was on revival of or renovation of your traditional water harvesting structure. India has got rich tradition in terms of different types of traditional water harvesting structure. If we look at and practices, so traditional practices as well. So one is of course ponds that have been there across the country, but also in the northeast, if you're looking at, you did have bamboo drip irrigation, for instance, in Nagaland. You did practice Apatani system of agriculture practices. You also had, I think, dongs in Assam. So there were many practices which have been there in the past. So, and they were all sort of focused around Zabo system you had. They were all focused around multiple things together. So one was, of course, rainwater harvesting and agriculture and pisciculture. So many things combined together, a very integrated system which has been there. So that was the second pillar in terms of whatever is the local traditional system, how you can revive that. Third was reuse water and recharge structure. So reuse water and recharge structure was that sometimes what happens is that a pond is there which has been abandoned because people have got piped water supply in their house, or there is a well that has been abandoned, or there are bore wells, hand pumps which have been abandoned. So how they can be revived and they can be reused for harvesting rain. For instance, the pond can be cleaned up, the nearby encroachment can be cleared up, and it is how for me it is very easy to seek these things, but it is definitely on the grassroots. It is a challenge to do each of these tasks, because somebody who has already encroached a particular area, to remove that person from there is also a huge challenge. But the choice that we have deliberately made, or the National Water Mission has deliberately made, to collaborate with Nehru Yuva Kendra, the whole purpose of it is that you are attached to the grassroots people. You have been actually steering several initiatives with the grassroots community. So you have a very close connect with them. So whenever we are looking at a transformational change, or whenever we are looking at a social change, it is very important that you build a trust with the people. So for us to go from Delhi and to build this trust is a huge challenge. But for you who are already connected with it, I'm sure it would still be a simpler task. But it is, you have to sort of, believe in just being, just being after them. I would say perseverance is something that normally pays. So I would say that relentlessly follow with them till such time that we are able to make a change, because that's the kind of emergency that we are all in. And the next one is watershed development. I'm sure all of you are familiar that watershed development, when we talk of watershed development, it is not pivoted around water alone, but it is pivoted around the entire area in that region. So you have a water body, but the region around, or the area around that water body from where the water comes, or which acts as a catchment for that water body, is actually called a watershed. So you not only clean and develop the water body, but the surrounding area. So whether you do afforestation, or whether you plant, or whether you are able to sort of strengthen the walls of the pond and also try to sort of plant grass or something on the edges, or you do a jute matting at the edges so that it doesn't collapse, so the soil doesn't erode and silt again the pond that you have cleaned up. Also, you need to look at what is the kind of crops that has to be grown there. You need to also look at what are the native plants that you can grow in that region. What is the kind of water budgeting that is there? Like, for instance, for what purpose, how much water to use? How can you do efficient agriculture practices? So watershed development is a very holistic thing and not just restricted to cleaning of ponds. Often, we see that we talk of integrated watershed management program, but we end up building check dams and anicuts. So it is much beyond that. You have to study the whole catchment of yours, and you'll also have to study the catchment downstream, because it shouldn't so happen that you stop all the water and the community downstream is deprived of it completely. So a good hydrogeological study is required whenever you take up projects like watershed development program. And the last one is intensive afforestation. So wherein just as your water bodies act as water repository, your forests also act as water repository. Northeast also has a lot of wetlands that are there. In fact, 3 of them are Ramsar sites also. So they are protected wetlands. I think the Port Beal is there one, and this other one, I'm just forgetting the name. I think I have it ahead. So there are 3 at least which are there, which are Ramsar sites, but you do have wetlands also, which again act as water repositories. So we need to really look at reviving them. So Catch the Rain is an initiative or a campaign that has been started to actually feed into the Jal Shakti Abhiyan. This last year we didn't have, in 2020 we did have the Jal Shakti Abhiyan. We are again planning to initiate it in July 2021. So here we are trying to prepare through the Catch the Rain program. We are trying to prepare to make this Jal Shakti Abhiyan a huge success. And in that, what we are doing in the first phase, what we are doing right now is basically generating awareness, and as Ashok sir was mentioning, nudging people to sort of, that indifference, that lethargy that has set in people. So to come out of that and start thinking and start sort of looking at the possibilities as to how they can reach out or how they can harvest the rain in their respective localities. See, that is what is your Catch the Rain campaign. So first is this, and then till March, this would continue. And then from April, once you have identified the nature of interventions that would be required, or once the people have identified the nature of interventions that are required, then you will have to sort of motivate them to take implementation projects, like take action in terms of cleaning the ponds. Like you could even speak to the local sarpanch and see whether Manarega can be used for that. How many people can put voluntary labor for that? You can also see how the sarpanch of your villages can help in this project. So there are different ways in which it can be, what people are willing to contribute, because if they're looking at rooftop rainwater harvesting, then of course some amount of money has to be put in by the people. It cannot always be charity, because when a charity is done, people don't value it. But when they invest money themselves, they are able to sort of understand the importance of anything that they have paid for. And then there is a sense of ownership in people. They are willing to look after it even with greater interest and ensure sustainability of such project. So the second phase would be in the implementation part. So that you're prepared with, for instance, if you're getting water just maybe for an hour in a day, then you may have 10 buckets in your house, or you may have 1,000-liter tank on your building to store the water so that you can use it for the rest of the day, or till the next day or till the next time when the water comes. Likewise here, through the Catch the Rain program, we are trying to prepare our villages, our infrastructure, so that when the rain comes, we are able to store that rain, whether it is on surface, in our ponds, in our wells, in our forests, in our wetlands, recharge the groundwater. So whatever repositories are there, we are able to deposit that. I often say we are able to create a water bank. And then from that water bank, during the other times of the year, we are able to draw water and use it. So I hope I have cleared what is Catch the Rain program. Now, Jal Jeevan Mission, while I would have taken it up later, but Jal Jeevan Mission is again a mission that was started last year or immediately after 2019. In fact, it was started that by 2024 we would have almost about water on tap or piped water supply in 14 crore rural households with per person minimum 55 liters per capita per day water availability. So that is the Jal Jeevan mission that has been there. And as part of, so India today has got roughly about, on an average, if you look at, we have almost only about 20% of the rural households that have water. And rest of the places, people have to fetch water. It depends whether 30 minutes to almost 2 hours. In some places, even women have to travel 4 hours to fetch water. So just to look into the drudgery of women and the difficulty that people in our rural area are facing, the Jal Jeevan Mission was launched with an objective to provide tapped water supply in 14 crore rural households. So for which the districts have been identified. If you visit the Jal Jeevan Mission website, you will know. Now, from where will the water come? This water that we are getting in our houses, they come either from the local spring, like for instance in Sikkim when I talk of local spring or the lake or the pond or the groundwater. So these are the sources of water. Now imagine if these sources are empty, then even if you have a tap in the house, it is of no use. So Catch the Rain program is going to be a very important, a significant driver in making the Jal Jeevan Mission a success. I can use the water that I have saved. I can use the money that I have saved. I can't be always borrowing money from people and living my life. So that's exactly the concept that we are looking at following here, that I save water and I use that water. And I make my region water positive. That means I save more and use, optimally, so that at some point in time, I always have a little surplus, which can then be used for emergency requirement. Just as we do with our money, same way we need to do as for water. So we need to really start valuing water. The way when we were small, people used to say this, keep paise ko pani ki tarah mat bahao. So don't waste money like water. So somewhere the narrative was that water, it's okay if you're wasting water, but money you should save. But believe you me, water is money water is the new cash for us. Water has already got, it's now in the Wall Street registered competing with gold and with oil. So it's already getting traded. So if it's already getting traded, anything, any resource that is scarce is the one that actually starts, the value starts increasing. So tomorrow, but water is so much of a necessity that tomorrow, even if you're able to pay, and if the water is not there, you won't be able to get. We have seen it in Chennai. We have seen it in various parts of the country. We have seen it in Shimla. People were willing to pay, but there was no water. So we have literally been like a Cape Town. Day zero was already there. So I hope I have been able to again put it in the limited time. Please visit the website of Jal Jeevan Mission and you will have all the details there, and the Jal Shakti Abhiyan also. The water cycle is something that we study during our school days. So we have our water which actually turns into cloud, and then we have rain. Now when we are saying that our cities are becoming urban beach islands, and there is a lot of change in the weather pattern because of the climate change that we are talking about. So more water is getting evaporated and we are getting rains which are more intense. So in India, as you all know, unlike other countries, we have one specific or one dedicated season called monsoon season. So other countries, of course, they don't have, they have spring, they have winter, summer, but they don't really have a dedicated monsoon season. That's very, very specific to the subcontinent. So during this season, we are supposed to get rain for the entire duration. But what happens is, because of climate change, the rains have become more intense. So while we maybe getting the same amount of rain, but the same amount of rain is now happening in a very shorter duration of time. So when it's happening in a very shorter duration of time, and most of our areas are concretized, or most of our lakes are filled, and most of our water resources, they are all polluted. When this water actually falls, either it goes in runoff or it combines with the pollution. So you can't use that water, and very little of it goes underground, because the problem of water is not the problem only of quantity, it's also the problem of quality. So if you look at this picture, I think it gives a very clear, it gives a very clear this thing that we talk of, that's why blue-green spaces. So when you have green space here, if you have forests, trees, if you have grasslands, if you have pastures, if you have open areas, parks, even wetlands, you will have a lot of water that will get infiltrated. So again, as you all may be familiar with, that groundwater occurs in two layers. So you have the unconfined aquifer, which is the top layer, and then you have the confined aquifer, which is the bottom layer. So unconfined aquifer, one side you have the soil, and then you have on one side the rock. But when it comes to confined aquifer, you have rocks on both sides. What has happened over time is we have started digging deeper into or mining water from the confined aquifers. And it's not very easy to charge the confined aquifers. Confined aquifers only get charged from mountains or hilly areas or cracks from the rocks, so very slow recharge. The only way to recharge the confined aquifer now is the same borewell that you had actually sunk deep into the confined aquifer. You should be using the same borewell to now recharge or put back water into that aquifer. In cities, if you see, because of concretization, because there is less of open space for water to percolate, a lot of it actually goes in runoff. So deep infiltration only 5% and 10%. Vis-a-vis here we were having 50%. Here you have only 15%. And most of it actually we lose because of runoff, because there's no way it can percolate. Percolation, of course, also depends on the soil type that is there. If you have a rocky strata, it is difficult to really percolate. In such places, as much as possible, we should try and do surface water storage. So the problem, already we have discussed a lot of problems which are there. So if you look at India, you will see that the per capita water availability has been declining over time. Yes, our population is increasing since the time we got independence. We are already somewhere around 1.3 billion, and we are expecting it to go up to 1.6 billion by 2050. And the water, of course, the per capita water availability per year is falling down. And when it falls down below 1700 cubic meter per year per capita, we say that the country is water stressed. So if we look at India, India is actually already water stressed. Rather, we had started to become water stressed after 2001 itself. And if your per capita water availability reduces below 1000 cubic meter per year, then we say that the country is water scarce. And water scarce is also, as water is distributed. So I was talking about like 150 millimeters, and then you have 11,000 millimeters. So there's so much of disparity, or the water, the rainfall, both in time and space, it is distributed unevenly. And so already there are regions in India which are severely water scarce as well. And then we have the economic water scarcity and the physical water scarcity. So some places are physically water scarce when water is not available at all. We have exhausted all of it, but some are economic water scarcity where you're having rain, water is coming, but we are not able to channelize it appropriately. Or we have water, but it is polluted water. And treatment cost is very high, so we are not able to treat it and use it properly. So different reasons could be there, which creates an economic water scarcity. And if we're looking at the states that have joined us today, whether it's Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, and Manipur, I think the problem is more of economic water scarcity, barring some parts of Sikkim which are a little drought prone, which are there. So if you look here, overall on an average, if you look at the map of India, the water stress, you will see that Northeast is actually not really much stress. So that way, as I was also talking about, you are really blessed. The variation we have spoken about, the intensity, But the bigger problem, that we are facing here is that the demand for the water is going up with the increase in population, and by 2030 we would be reaching a situation where our demand will be literally double the supply of water available. So if we don't act now, we can be sure of that we are heading for a water war very soon. And other things, everything would take up the back burner. Water would be key to deciding. So water is geopolitical issue. If you read history, you will see empires actually falling down because of, the rise and fall of empires. If you see, you will see it is also associated with water availability. So if we don't act, I'm sure, all of us would become, part of the history books only. So, yeah, I don't have to really tell much about this because most of you have surplus rain, barring, I think this time Mizoram, of course, Manipur, of course, had some deficient rainfall, but most of your regions are pretty water surplus, and you're getting the right amount of rain, I would say. But the only issue that you are facing is in terms of intense rain. So that's why you have this urban flooding that is happening, because our urban areas are not really designed to take so much of rain, like 100 millimeters rain in a day or 200 millimeters of rain a day. We are not equipped. We never designed it. We concretized most of our drains. We concretized most of our, roadsides. We have most of our areas we have tried to concretize. In fact, in America, people have started following now daylighting streams, or stream daylighting is something that they have started, wherein all the box drains and the big drains which were there, which they have covered and concretized, they are now trying to open that up and also trying to green those areas so that more and more water can be absorbed. Also, when something is visible to people, people still take action to keep it clean. Though I would not say it's true everywhere, because I have seen Aligarh, I go and I've seen a drain which I've always seen dirty, with a lot of literate people living around that, but nobody really taking action. So there is citizen apathy also is there, and as I said, social transformation, if we want to bring, a lot of effort will be required from the Nehru Yuva Kendra volunteers who are connected with the grassroots community. Groundwater Yearbook of 17-18, already you can see that most of the regions we are having, the depth of the groundwater level is going down every year, depending on different this thing. So 4.67 centimeter or 4.11 centimeter. So different. At some places it is much higher. Delhi, or for instance, Uttarakhand, you can see Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan. At a very fast rate, our groundwater is depleting. Arsenic contamination also. So we do have in the Ganga belt as well as in the Brahmaputra. So we can say Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna basin that we talk about. This entire basin actually has got problem of arsenic. So in case the well or the aquifer in your region has arsenic problem, please do not add more water or do not recharge water to those wells or those aquifers. They are not going to help you much, because your water, the fresh water, the clean water that you're putting in those aquifers will also get dirty. So try to also understand that which aquifer is clean and try and recharge in those aquifers, or try and store water on surface water bodies. I think that's, again, you have got in abundance, you have got, map them out and try and see how they can be revived and water can be stored there. We were talking about Jal Jeevan Mission, and I did tell you about the rural access to rural household piped water supply. So most of the states which have joined today, like you have Manipur with about 5.58% connection in the rural area, and then you have Assam with 2.21% of the rural areas that has got water connection. You have Arunachal Pradesh with 9% connection that is there. So, and Sikkim, of course, Sikkim, as I was also mentioning about, you do have turned organic. You have taken a lot of measures, and most houses are connected, if these figures are to be believed. So maybe the reality you are more familiar with, that sometimes, we do provide piped water connection, but then there is no water in the pipe. So just putting a number. So in research, when we work, we actually look at, So I teach in Terry School of Advanced Studies in the Water Department. So in research, when we say that there is something called output and then there is something called outcome, of course, then impact. So output is just like putting taps in so many houses, like JNN URM also had hand pumps that were installed in different villages. But outcome of any initiative is when people actually have water, or when water is equitably everybody has access to that water also. Even if I sort of create water but availability in a particular village, but if everybody doesn't have access because of several reasons, we have a lot of social discriminations which are there on the basis of caste, class and all. So on the basis of that also, if it exists, that means our outcome has not been right, though we have been successful in the output part, but not really outcome. Har Ghar Jal, I think the ones who are there from Manipur and who have joined us today, you may be familiar with this, that in Manipur also, while you have so much of a problem, but under Har Ghar Jal or the Jal Jeevan mission that we have, under that, the Manipur water supply project has been inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister of India at a cost of 3,000 crore. So again, it's the responsibility of each individual, each citizen to ensure that projects like this become a success by harvesting rain and also trying to see that everybody, everybody is sort of saving water, or as I said, water bank, they are storing water. So every person should be trying and doing that. It's like literally everybody has a role to play in making these projects success. Then only the water can be drawn from there and then used for household purposes. I was talking about wetlands. So Deepor Bill, Loktak Lake, and Rudra Sagar. You have got these are the three Ramsar sites, but I'm sure there are other wetlands also which are there in the northeast. And most of our wetlands, they are threatened for various reasons. People have encroached again upon them. Some places, people have even built golf course over the wetlands. So in Bombay, Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, we have literally, ranging from 40 to 70% of our wetlands don't exist anymore. So, but I'm assuming that at least the wetlands, they are there. They may have to be sort of revived, but that's okay that we can do it and we can revive and we can, because wetlands actually, they have got what we call ecosystem services. So they help us in various things. They provide livelihood to people. They have an aesthetic thing. They regulate the atmosphere. They act as a carbon sink. There are multiple things, uses of wetlands which are there. For recreation, they can be used. They have an economic value as well. So, and these things, I think you have to convince people also that once this gets revived, what are the benefits that they're going to derive? Very important aspect. Most of us, are out there to see what is it in it for me. So that response you will have to actually formulate. What is it what benefit that people are going to derive by this initiative? These are facts which you already know about, that in Sikkim we have 80% of the households which depend on dhara or which depend on springs for drinking water. And especially, West Sikkim and South Sikkim, they fall in rain shadow. I was telling you that there's some parts of Sikkim that falls under rain shadow area. It's slightly drought prone. And this is a study that was done by Sandrup, and they said that almost about, after monsoon, there is a long queue at our spring to collect water. And in April and May, we have to wait for 2 to 3 hours to fill a pot of water. So that's the kind, you just provide a tap, but if you don't really provide, if there's no water, or if the water comes only at a particular time in the day. In Delhi also, I see people during summer season in public standposts, actually people go and queue up from 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the mornings to just ensure that they get a bucket of water. It's what a pity, in a country where you already have water rainfall, which is more than the global average. Likewise, Guwahati, for instance, Guwahati has about 11.5 lakhs of population, an average rainfall of 1722 millimeters, which is there, which is almost equivalent to 5,64,000 million liters of water that you get, enough to serve 37 lakhs people. And here you have only 11 lakh people, but you struggle. Again, a lot of people are dependent on the groundwater for their use, and since it is not metered, it's your personal borewell. There is no sort of, it's more of a behavioral issue. There's no initiative or no effort on the part of the people to really save that water, because they're not paying for it. Anything that's unpaid, whether it's air or water, we are very good at misusing it and polluting it also. There are various statistics that is there to justify that. And then you had these floods. I think it was only last year that you had, again, lots of districts which were impacted. So this is same Assam, which again has a problem of water also, and then you have so much of rain and floods every year that is there. Health crisis, yes, water. If you don't have water, you'll have more waterborne diseases because people will depend on poor quality water. We have more than we have between 1.5 to 2 lakhs of people dying of waterborne diseases. Problem of stunting is largest in our country. If you look at the global stunting figures, we actually are sort of the worst amongst all those. So let's acknowledge the problem that is there at the height to age ratio, because even if you eat good food, you are not able to absorb the nutrients because you are drinking polluted water, or you are often suffering from diarrhea and you're often suffering from typhoid, which in turn actually acts as a deterrent when it comes to gaining height vis-a-vis age. Then the economic part also, 85% of the jobs globally is directly or indirectly linked to water. So when it is directly or indirectly linked to water and we don't have water, obviously these jobs will not be there, your industries will not be there, agriculture will not be there. And if we really don't act today, I think countries like India would almost lose up to 5 to 6% of its GDP because of lack of water. Women's crisis, child's crisis, children accompany their mothers, they're not able to attend school. Often girls drop out of school, especially when they reach the age of menstruation, and if there is no water in the school, they end up dropping out from school. Also, sometimes, the distances are so far, the mothers take their sons and daughters along to fetch water, and they miss. And that's only the drudgery part of it, but it does have a lot of health impact. I remember in Uttarakhand, once I was talking to a lady in Mukteshwar, and she said that her uterus has moved down because of taking water and going uphill every day. I've seen even pregnant women, climbing uphill with water. So global hunger index, of course, when there is no water, there is no food, which will be there. And India, actually globally, we need to actually produce 1.5 times food that we are producing today to feed the excess population, or 9 billion population that the world would have by 2050. And we are today at 94th position of the 107 countries which were surveyed. So as it is, our situation is quite bad. And if we are not able to stock water, it's only going to worsen. As I said, a lot of traditional water management systems that we have had in the past. So Apatani in Arunachal Pradesh, which has been very, very popular. This is theory. I'm just running fast a little bit because you're already familiar. It is your technique. You have done it. So I really don't need to go in detail to explain it. But it's a very nice integrated kind of approach where you end up doing the fish farming and the agriculture together. And the poo of the fish also acts as sort of organic fertilizer for your crops as well. So a very nice system that you have here in Arunachal Pradesh. Likewise, you have the dongs which are there in Assam, and these dongs are like channels, water channels which are there. So they draw water from the perennial rivers or the beels, or the beel is actually your wetland which is there, and then the swamps and streams, and through the canal this water comes for agriculture. But this canal also helps in recharge of groundwater. But when the water in your rivers and swamps and beels are not there, then you don't have a choice. And a lot of women you can see here, they are trying to. A lot of public participation is required, and I think Catch the Rain program also, even for that matter, when we look at other programs, also schemes which have been there, there is a very strong component of people-centric approach of public participation, because you and I can only go there and do a project or handhold to do one project. or handhold to set up 10 projects. But if we really want it to have a multiplier effect, we really want scalability and replicability of that, we need to empower our people. We need to bring them closer to the water. We need to make them feel for the water. We need to make them value water, just the way they used to traditionally do when we didn't have piped water supply in our house. While for convenience, piped water supply is very important, but at the same time, the source from which also make people realize that this is the source of your water. If you don't work on this, if you don't maintain this, you will not have water in your houses. A lot of it advocacy, a lot of awareness is required, which I think the Nehru Yuva Kendra Youth Volunteers are best positioned to do that. Rainwater harvesting structure, again, very, very simple thing. It's just common sense that is there. There's no science, major science that's required in that. You have a roof. It could be any size. Government may say 100 square meter or 50 square meter. It's mandatory. Let's assume that it is like all other religious practices or anything that we follow in our life every day, like breathing and eating and drinking that we do. We should religiously try to see that every space that we have, we should use it for harvesting water, even if it's a smaller space, even if it's an inclined surface. So you use this, you take the water from here, you put a small screen here to filter. You don't take the first rain. First rain has to go for first flush. Then you take the water from here, filter it here, basic filtration process, as in you put a screen so that any leaves or any big particles which are there, they don't go into your pipe down. And then you have to, so the harvesting would depend to what use you want to put water to. If you want to put it for domestic use, for cooking and all in the house or in body consumption, then you will have to go through a series of filter. Basic sand filter, basic sand filter will be good enough with little grit and aggregate and charcoal. A very basic filter that you can have, wherein you can just pass the water through that, and then there can be an outlet, and from there you can store it in your sump or in your underground sump or your overhead tank or any storage that you have created for storing. In case you want to put this water into the ground, the best way is to either put it in the nearest pond or well which is already existing, or have a recharge pit through which you can actually transfer it to the water, to the ground. The other thing that you can do is also, if you have abandoned bore wells which are there, or even working bore wells which are there, you could use both to take this water and put it to the ground so that it can be reused through the same bore well. So different kinds of, it all depends again, as I said, that what's the kind of use that you wish to put to. Everything, literally everything, as I said, you don't need to have really 100 square meter or 50 square meter mandatory area to do a rainwater harvesting. You can just do it from everywhere that is there. The smallest possible roof that you have, sloping or flat, road, park, paved area, everywhere. And you can have small spaces where you can just divert that water so that it goes there and gets stored. This again, I have picked up from the Ministry of Water Resources. If you click on this PDF, you will get this information about different initiatives across different states in the country. But this was from Arunachal Pradesh that was there. So things are already being done. So we are not really looking at reinventing the wheel. We are just looking at something that we have forgotten with time, something we got it. So we just thought that, okay, that is useless, that I should not be really. We are just looking at going back to the roots and reviving what was already there. Likewise, this is something that I picked up for Uttarakhand, but I think in spring rejuvenation, this has got a very important role. It's being practiced even in Sikkim, that is, for rejuvenating. Dhara Vikas is doing a brilliant work in rejuvenation of springs in Sikkim, along with EC Mode and Aquadam and other people. So, and this is one technique, which you can do, make small holes where you can take water. You can just recharge the groundwater. Ultimately, the springs also get water from the groundwater. The other thing that you can do is also, you check dams and terrace and ponds and small furrow irrigations, trying to stop water, making small tile ridges where you can retain water. So any place which is a low-lying area where you think that the water is getting accumulated, create a pondage there and try and save water there. You can make rain gardens. You can dig trenches, small trenches you can make, and you can use all of them to really harvest rain. as you know, a lot of hilly terrain and the water goes down very fast. So trenches would really work at different levels of the slope where you can stop water and you can recharge it at different levels. You can abandon wells, as I said. Gabion structure. Okay, yeah. If you're making trenches, you could even putting a Gabion structure, simple structures. You take some construction debris that you have, take it. So this is stone based, but you take construction debris. Let's be sustainable and tie it with wire and just position it in the trenches that you create so that the water can be slowed down and can also gradually get recharged. So the runoff speed you can reduce, at the same time you can ensure that the water is slowly getting recharged also. So before I move on to show you, just share what more can be done by the Nehru Yuva Kendra, I'll show you a couple of videos, which I always do. So just give me a second. It's again from your region, something that you're very familiar with, just for the benefit of people from other regions, and also for us to understand that people are already putting in effort. We just need to see how best we can scale up those efforts, how best we can provide support to them, learn from them, because they are what people are doing. They are using the local knowledge, actually, the local resources, the local knowledge, because the problems are local. We cannot solve it, by trying to take something from Delhi and trying to implement it in the Northeast. That's not what's going to work. This is from Sikkim. think there is an issue here. I think I downloaded the same video twice. So, but that's perfectly all right. I put the links in the presentation, so you can actually check those links, and you will get the video from there. I'm really sorry about that. And let me just get back to my presentation. So the links are here. The YouTube links are here, so you can actually access the videos from here. So what can Nehru Yuva Kendra Youth Fellows contribute? The first thing that you can do is spreading public awareness and sensitization. I think Garima is going to take this session in very detail with you. So basically in different ways that you can do. What is it that locally you think would be more suitable for you? You can decide. Maybe plays, maybe games, maybe posters, banners, some training programs, or getting people together to address them, telling them about the problem that is there in the village, talking to them and informing them that what would be the benefit that they would derive. So all those things, I think you can do a lot of things. I think Garima is covering this in detail, so I'm not going much into it. The other thing that you can do is resource mapping. Resource mapping is also a very important thing that is required, because what am I trying to address? What is already there? So we need to really understand whichever village that I want to really think of intervention. I need to first take stock of what is already there and see what best can be done. So assessment is very, very important of a place. So while with GIS and all, we can do spatial assessment, but here you are going, sitting with the villagers, trying to draw a map of the village with them, because they know their villages the best. And here you could also, because some resource mapping, I see people even sort of try and show the gradients that are there, so which is on a higher elevation, which is on a lower elevation. So a lot of clarity on that also people bring through it. So basically you go and meet the Sarpanch, so you can ask your volunteers to meet the Sarpanch, and then Sarpanch will connect to the local people. So when you travel from the main road and then when you get into the village, meet the Sarpanch, sit at a common place, maybe under a tree, maybe near a temple or any common place, get the villagers around you, tell them the purpose and objective with which you are there, say that you're looking at this campaign which is there for which we are working, and tell them that we are looking at the possibility how best we can stop the rain within your village, or what initiatives that you can take to stop the rain, map everything. So this is how we do. We sort of, we come and we sit in a place and we tell the people that, okay, I have come from this road and I've come here and now I'm at this place, and give the pencil or sketch pens to the villagers and ask them to draw. The coloring part, you don't have to do it there. So coloring part, normally we do it when we come back from the research site, and we do it after coming back, just to have a good view of the whole place. Mapping public buildings is very important. Rooftop of public buildings can be used. Mapping bore wells which are or hand pumps which are abandoned and in use, both are important, because if there is a bore well or a hand pump which is there, you could use the water from the nearby roofs to actually divert it through this into the groundwater. Again, remember that your well in which you are, or the aquifer in which you are trying to recharge, should not be contaminated, especially by arsenic or iron or fluoride, because then it's better to do a surface storage rather than going for a deep storage. And ponds which are there, which can be cleaned up and which can be again revived. Wetlands which are there, which encroachments can be removed or not. So once you have mapped it, you will also specify while you're doing the mapping that what are the problems which are there. So if it's working, you keep it like this. If it is not working, a hand pump is not working, you put a cross. So you make this shape and you put a cross. So that this is a bore well which was there, or this is a hand pump which was there, but now it is abandoned, so it's no longer in use. But we can revive it, right? So that's how you need to really map all the resources within the village. Springs in case which were there, anything that you think which were there and which people have lost over time. These are just more resource maps that we do. We even, we divide it on the basis of community also, because sometimes, the social fabric of the village also you need to understand to ensure that you're able to provide water to everyone. Then there is a documentation part which will be covered by in the MIS section for you. A lot of things that you need to really, from the name of the state to contact number and the schemes. What are the government schemes which are already there in that place is also that you need to capture. Then the number of houses, population, how many number of people for which you are ensuring or which you are looking for to address the water issue. How many houses are there which are there? You know, what is the potential of the village to really harvest water? What is the school, public buildings that you have in the respective village? The average rainfall that is there in that area. What is the soil type? Because as I said, not all soil type would allow your water to percolate. So you may have to go for surface, or sometimes you may have to go with a geotextile lining. It depends. Hilly terrain, plain terrain, rocky terrain, different kinds of interventions are required. At some point in time, we would be happy to provide technical training also to the youth volunteers whom you feel that, okay, they have done this stage quite well and they are now in a position that if we give them some kind of technical training, they can take the work further. So that could also be provided. Ponds, lakes, government borewells, wetlands, which are already there. Mapping of that is required. So what is already there or what repositories are already there which can be used and in what condition they are there. Are they clean, silted, encroached, filled with garbage? So do they have, so in Gurgaon when we were doing this mapping, we also did a mapping of whether they have panchayat land surrounding it, because also, you know, the catchment that you'll have to look for. So sometimes it's encroached till the pond completely. So if you don't have land, from where do you get water to that pond? Then a lot of wastewater, like in Gurgaon, we are doing wastewater, reuse of wastewater. So treating the wastewater through either biodigester or treating it through root zone and even through conventional treatment plants, and we are trying to recharge the groundwater. So, recharge the pond. And then also whether you have water user association or Jal Samiti or Pani Panchayat or any social group that is already working in that area. So that also actually makes it more easy, because if you already have a group which has influence on the local people, you can collaborate with that group to take your mission forward. The last thing that you can do, so one was the first, as I said, was awareness generation in people and sensitizing them. The second is resource mapping. The third is documentation. And fourth, as Ashok sir was mentioning about establishing an information center. That's very, very important, because everything that we want to do in life, like from a small telephone that we have or even a fridge in our house or a microwave in our house or a RO or my car, we want a number where we can call if we have any requirement and find a solution for that. So here again, we are looking at one-stop information hub, which could be called Rain Center or Jal Shakti Kendra. Why we thought that probably it could be a water knowledge center, because we will not restrict it to just rainwater harvesting. We'll initially start with that, but we will also then subsequently provide advice on water use efficiency in agriculture or industry and different areas. And why it is required? Because often, you know, if I want to put a rainwater harvesting structure, for instance, in my house, there are a few questions that will come to my house. Who should I approach to? Who will help me do that? Are there contractors? Does the government have any place or anybody to advise me on that? What would be the cost of it? What kind of rainwater harvesting structure? How much water can I harvest? Is there any support or government scheme that can be used? Is there any information manual or any technical manual that I can refer to? How do I maintain the structure? So there are hundreds of questions, what we call the frequently asked questions, that comes to my mind. We can definitely, from this, we can build upon a very robust FAQ also in due course of time, and region-specific FAQs, which can then be later integrated with the site. But even when we do that integration or when we create those, still the need for the number is still going to exist. So this would be a very important contribution of this entire initiative. While we are doing things at the grassroots, we are also making our systems robust to ensure that this is effectively sort of translated from what we are talking to action. So yeah, so it's time for us to act, because if we really want to see things change, then we have to be the change. And action, of course, changes things. So with that, I would like to stop here, and thank you very much for joining. I will put my, I'll share my email ID and phone number in the chat box. And if any of you need any help in terms of technical guidance or any kind of resource, anything that you need, or you would like to me, because of course I'm based out of Delhi, so I won't be able to come to Assam, or Northeast, but if you want some training program virtually to be done, please feel free to reach out to us. Please feel free to reach out to please feel free to even reach out to the National Water Mission office. Write to them. Whether you write to me or whether you write to them, it's one and the same thing. You can be not one and the same thing for everything, just about the training part. For other technical things, you please write to them, because they are the ones who would provide you all the information on that. But in case you need any support here, please feel free to reach out to me in my limited time that I have. We'll be happy to support this cause. Thank you very much. If you have questions, you can type it in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll hand it over to Garima to take it forward. Thanks, Garima. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for the intensive session and explaining everything. May I quickly ask if someone has a question, because we are really running behind as far as today's schedule is concerned. So may I quickly ask if you have any questions? You can also write it down on the chat box, and there is this, there is this, after this chat icon, you will also notice 3 dots. You can actually click on that and raise your hand in case that is required. And then I'm presuming the session was very informative and everybody has understood that.
Go ahead, Garima, go ahead with the IEC, na?
Certainly. Now we'll be talking about the IEC activity which we can take in order to make this mission very successful and reach out to the people. I'll quickly share my screen and share some insights on what all can be done and how effectively the social media channels can be used. I believe that my website, my screen is visible to you all, and I'll make it full screen in order to So, 2020 has taught us a lot, and one of the things was that, virtually things can happen. It can be as effective as a real life, physical presence. So, keeping the same mode in mind, we are suggesting that let's reach out to the grassroots level. Let's reach out to the people whom we want to connect with, in our mission with social media. And while promoting, promoting yourself on social media, and while posting anything on social media about this activity, we request you to use this hashtag called Catch the Rain, with C, P, and R capital, so that all the efforts which we are doing can be amplified, and the entire thing can be, made very powerful. So as I said, the idea is to create the buzz among people that there is something called Catch the Rain, and they need to be aware about it, that they need to save the rain, they need to conserve water, they need to be sensitive about our future generation and start taking immediate steps, right? So in the initial level, we are requesting you to take help of 2 mediums, which are Twitter and Facebook. These 2 mediums they cover almost 80% of population of India. Of course, there are other mediums, and if you think that you are also there and you want to stay active, that is perfectly fine with us. But primarily, please stay active on these 2 forums, which are Twitter and Facebook. And how you can stay active? First of all, you can follow our channels, and whatever we post or whatever we share, you can retweet us, you can reshare that. It will help us to bring the cross-channel traffic between your channel and our channel. It will help us. Plus, whenever you're doing some activity, or if you're doing some training, or you're talking to people, holding a conversation, take a lot of pictures and videos which can be posted on your channel. It is also very important to converse with the people, So if somebody is writing something to you, try and give them the answer as much as this is possible. And if you think that you don't have an answer for that particular query, reach out to us so that we can help you in drafting an appropriate response. But please make sure that you are just not ignoring them, because nobody likes to be ignored. They really want to find an answer to their query, so try and give it to them. Plus, if you are going to a locality where they have RWA or perhaps a Gram Panchayat or a cluster which is also active on Twitter or on Facebook, tag them so that they can also know that yes, this is the mission and how can they connect with them. Also, when we go to so many parts in the country, we see that there are local news channels, local news bodies, cables. You can also reach out to them and they will definitely help you in spreading the word. You can reach out to them, you can tell them what you want to do and what you intend to do, and they'll definitely help you. Besides this, you must stay active and updated. Don't just ignore your channels and don't post anything for perhaps a month or two or week or two for that matter of fact, because consumers are content hungry. So if you don't provide them content, they'll go and send somewhere else. So it is important and vital that you keep pushing them with the information and relevant information rather. Plus, because most of us have our weekly schedule already in place with us, try to post your future activities so that people can take the people can take conscious effort to stay with you or to connect with you when you arrive at their locality, at their at their RWA, so that they can make a conscious effort. So if you put your future activities a day or two in advance, they will also remember that yes, they need to be present there. Same way, you can use Facebook. You can follow our channels. You can do sharing from our channels. You can share the status, whatever you put. You have to, on Facebook, it is extremely easy to geotag yourself. So geotag yourself as much as it is possible, so that people in the near about area can know that you are there, some activities are happening, and they can take a conscious measure to reach out to you or to talk to you. And also on Facebook, it is extremely easy to create quiz and polls. You can keep on doing that, but make sure that the quizzes are not very difficult. They are something something which a person can easily play when they are browsing through your page. Something which keeps them involved, but without putting so much performance pressure on them. Then use a lot of images and videos, as I said. Talk and respond to people. This is very important, that you must respond to people. And in case you feel stuck, reach out to us. Stay active and updated, and share your future information about your future locations and activities. This is a must. Now, how can you geotag yourself when you are going somewhere? How can you geotag yourself? So there's this app called GPS Map Camera, geotag photos and add GPS location. I have given the link of iOS as well as Play Store. You can easily go and download this picture. Once you download this app, it will an icon like this will appear on wherever your apps are, next to the home screen. Once you click on this icon, it will expand and appear on your phone screen. Post that, this is a one-time activity only. Setup kind of a thing, and once you open this, it will ask you for the language you prefer. You can select English and then you can click on save. In the next part, it will ask you to access your location whenever you're using this particular application. Allow that. Post that. In the third step, it will ask you to access your camera so that it can take pictures and videos. Allow that. And in the last step, it will ask you to store your pictures in your photos or whatever folder you have created, and you can allow that. This is just a one-time setup. Once you have done this setup, automatically next time wherever you go and try to click a picture from this app, it will automatically capture the date, time, location, longitude, latitude, everything. So you don't have to remember. Let's say that in a day you are taking 50 photos, 60 photos. You don't have to remember where you took those photos, where were you, what time was it, anything. This will do automatically. This particular app will automatically help you in all this information. And side by side, you can keep sending those videos and photos to your seniors, to us, on our WhatsApp number, so that we can also immediately post the same on our social media channel, and can keep tagging your NYKS center, so that it will help us in capturing two-way traffic. Besides this, as I said, that it is very important that you help us in understanding where you are, what activity you are doing, and be very vigilant with the reporting. So if you'll keep on sending that, it will help us big time. Besides this, what other activities you can do? Of course, you can talk to people, but besides this, you can also play a lot of games with them. On the relevant topic, you can play games. You can ask them to create some slogans. You can, or you can, when you are passing by a locality or perhaps, panchayat, and if you see a relevant slogan, and people are standing there, you can click the image and you can share it on your social media page. And when you see group of people holding a conversation, you can start talking to them and you can challenge them that, why don't you just make one slogan from your, do you remember any slogan on rainwater harvesting or how we can save water? Sing songs with them. The idea is to hold an interpersonal communication so that it doesn't feel forced. It flows very natural and with the flow. Besides this, you can also do wall writing. For wall writing, you must identify the locations which are high on footfall and unique in nature, and and seen by a lot of people. So such locations could be bus stops, panchayat, school, government, medical institutes, and any other locality where you feel that yes, this is a location where we see a lot of footfall, regular footfall. You must identify those locations and initiate the wall writing process. Besides this, you can also do Nukkad Natak. In Nukkad Natak, you will require a 3-4 member team, and you can gather people, and you can start having a conversation, gather people, laugh with them, sing with them. So you'll see the crowd you'll notice that most of the crowd will come and get attracted to the activities which are happening. Once you see a feasible crowd of, let's say, 30, 35, 40, whatever is good number for you, initiate the Nukkad Natak, and we'll be giving you the script and the skit. Initiate the Nukkad Natak so that people can get involved with you. They can understand what you're saying in the form of a story, and of course, it will look, they can also, be engaged in your conversation and in your act. Where can you find the material to do all these things? We request you to regularly go to the National Water Mission website. The URL of the website is www.nwm.gov.in. Once you go on this website, on your left-hand side, you see the first tab of Catch the Rain. This is how the homepage looks. Once you land on the homepage, you'll see that there's this icon called Catch the Rain. You click on this tab, a new page would open, and on the new page, if you scroll down, there is you will see these two tabs, which is IEC material for Catch the Rain and IEC videos for Catch the Rain. It is available in English, Hindi, and so many vernacular languages. You can pick and choose your language. You can get material from there. You can take inspiration from there in case you want to do some small little modifications or you want to do some small little additions. You are free to do that. However, you'll get basic gist of all the material here. Even the presentations which we are giving to you right now, whether it was given by me or Fauzia ma'am or Sunil sir followed by me, you can find all the PPTs there. You can refer back to those, and in case you still have questions, you can reach out to us. See, the idea is to do a 360-degree campaign. So what is a 360-degree campaign? A 360-degree campaign is a campaign which is complete from all the corners. That's why it is 360 degrees. It doesn't have any open loop, right? So for 360-degree campaign, what all you can do? You can motivate people towards water conservation. You can use interpersonal communication and establish a contact. You can initiate wall writing and painting. You can organize melas. You can do Nukkad Natak in order to engage with people so that they can understand where you're coming from. Plus, whenever you go to any panchayat or gaon or a local community, you'll always see that there are certain people, who are very respected and everybody listens to them. First, you establish a contact with them so that they can further help you in navigate between the people and help you reach out to the people, right kind of people, I would say. And then you can do a lot of songs and Nukkad Natak activities. It is also important to distribute comic and other information material in the school so that we can stimulate kids at a very young age towards water conservation. We can tell them why it is important, and we can make them aware about water conservation so that it gets registered in their subconscious mind and they never forget it. And last but not the least, effectively use digital media and social media. It is a great zero budget advertisement idea. you can reach out to masses, with the tag the right people, use the right hashtags, and this is the best way to reach out to people, right? Use that. Besides this, what all support you'll get from us? You'll get all the creative support from us, the slogans in local language, wall writing, scripts, quiz, interactive material. You'll get everything from us, and most of the things are already on the website. However, if you still need anything which is not covered in this and you are unable to reach out to us, you can get in touch with Sanjay or Mr. Shravan Pandey at these email address as well as phone numbers. They'll definitely help you out. Now, in the interest of time, I'll quickly close this window and take question answer round, if any. And yeah. Okay, so may I know if I can see some chat once again. Ma'am, please provide soft copies of the presentation made here. Salamji, Mr. Salamji Singh, it is already, sir, it is already available on the website. I have just told you where you can find those. However, if you still need them, please let me know or just write your email address here so that we can send the soft copy to you. I'll again ask if there is any question. If there are none, then I will give the, I will request Sunil Arora ji to, what is it? For areas abundant with water, what kind of ideas can we bring forward before the people to change behavior will and indulge them as much as possible regarding water availability when we stress someday? Mr. Avik Ranjan, this is the question for Fazia ma'am, but she had another session which starts at 5, so I'll tell her, I will pass on your question and we'll write back to you. And now I will request Sunil sir, who is from National Water Mission, advisor sir, to please take the stage and guide us the way, sir, for MIS.
Thank you very much. Friends, a very, very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of National Water Mission, I, Sunil Kumar Arora, Advisor, National Water Mission, extend a very warm welcome to all of you in this training session of JSA 2 Catch the Rain campaign organized by National Water Mission in collaboration with Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan on this virtual platform. As you all know, that this JSA 2 Catch the Rain campaign was launched on 21st December 2020 by 3 Honorable Ministers of Government of India. Now this campaign has to be taken further by National Water Mission in collaboration with Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan, the support of all of you. In this campaign, we all have to promote and make aware all citizens of our country about the techniques of water conservation, water saving, efficient use of water, as well as about water conservation, rainwater conservation, and also to persuade and encourage them to actively participate in this campaign for bright future of our country, as well as for sustained availability of water for citizens of our country. Before me, speakers have spoken about why we should go for water conservation, what are the simple methods of water conservation, and how to take further this Catch the Rain campaign on water conservation. Now I will let all of you know how to upload the reports on our portal about the details of your district, as well as about the activities held in your district for this campaign. I will guide you about MIS, that is Management of Information System, and with a presentation on this topic, I'll let you know how to upload your reports on our portal. Now I will share my presentation with all of you and will explain one by one in a very simple manner how to upload your reports. I think my presentation is visible. Visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Friends, this is the URL of our website of National Water Mission, that is nwm.gov.in. After entering this URL in your browser and click enter it, and you'll find this front page of our web page will open like this, and this is the top portion of front page of our website. This is bottom portion of the front page of our website, and at the right bottom side you will find one tab is there, that is login. After clicking on this login tab, this type of interface will open, and it will prompt you to fill your password and username. This username and password till date you must have got from your headquarters in Delhi. We have already given them. After filling this username and password and completing filling the CAPTCHA, which is basically simple maths question, you log in, enter on the login, and you will find that this interface will open. In this interface, you will find whatever details you have filled till date will be available, will be there in this page. But since you are first time entering this website or this portal, this page will be blank, no details will be there. For filling up the details and editing the details, just adjacent to View tab, there is a tab Edit. Click on this Edit tab, and you will find this interface will open. Just below the Ashoka emblem, this Rashtriya Jal Mission or National Water Mission, wherever it is written, you will find a long black strip in which 3 tabs are there: User and District Details, Add Activity, and Logout. Now we are in the User and District Detail. Below this, the name of your district or your user ID will be mentioned, and below that there are 2 tabs, View, Edit. Now we are in View, we are in Edit tab, and below this you will find there are 4 tabs: Account Detail, District Detail, Officers Detail, and the Water Body Details. First we have to click Account Detail. You have to fill the password sent to you, and then you will change your password. After entering the email address and the new password, just save it. Your password will be changed. Write down this password somewhere so that whenever you miss it, you forget about the password, you can take it from there. After saving your password, then you click on the district detail. In the name of the state, you will find a drop down menu. You select one of your state, write down the name of district, write down the number of blocks, number of municipality, number of corporations in the district, and the name of the corporation. It is for the info of the all that every district may not have all 3 like blocks. Blocks will be there in every district, but corporation will not be there in every district. If it is not there, you can leave this space. No need to fill this details. After saving this district detail, you will find this officer's detail. Now for this Catch the Rain campaign, we have notified 3 officers, that is district magistrate or deputy commissioner of the district, then the nodal officer of the district of water resources of this campaign nominated by district authorities, and the district youth officer of that district. For all these three officers, we have to fill their name, their email ID, and their mobile numbers in this tab. After filling this district and officer's detail, when you are saving these details will now be available in our data bank. This is almost one-time information you have to fill. This step 6 and 7 regarding details of district and the detail of officers, it has to be completed as soon as possible within 1 week of receipt of your ID and password. These details will be available with you. You may get these details from district authorities, also the name and phone number and email ID of the nodal officer as well as district magistrate. After that, you will come one of the important data required for your district is water body details. There are 5 interventions. In left side of the page, you will find 5 interventions are mentioned. And if we click the first intervention, water conservation in the rainwater harvesting, you will find 9 sub-intervention or the activities you can say. They are mentioned here, and we have to fill the details of all these 9 sub-interventions. Details are the number of structure as on 31st December 2020, number of structures repaired after 1st January 2021, number of new structures constructed after 1st January 2021. I am sure that these details will not be available with all of you. You have to make liaison with district authorities and collect these details from them. And after getting these details from them only you will be able to fill up these details or upload these details on this portal. Now next is renovation and traditional of other water bodies like step wells, bowlies. They are being called by different names in different areas. And these details also you will get from district authorities. You have to make liaison with them. Then you have to fill the reuse and recharge structures. There are 3 sub-intervention in this intervention. These details have also to be filled. Then comes watershed development. There are 4 sub-intervention in that. Again, same number of structure as on 31st December, number of structure repaired after 1st January, number of new structure constructed after 1st January 2021. Now these all details, it is not necessary that you will fill all this detail at one go. Whatever details you are getting from district authorities, whenever you are getting the details from district authorities, you have to fill this detail on this portal. The last intervention is intensive afforestation, that is number of sapling planted after 1st January 2021. You will get this information from the district authorities and fill up the details on this portal. After saving these all details, you will find that there is at the bottom of the page, you will find last updated on will be mentioned. It will provide you the details of at what time last whenever you have modified your details or edited your details. These step number 8 to 14, that is details of water bodies, to be completed within 2 weeks of the receipt of your ID and password. Yes, it is a slightly difficult task, but now this task you have to take and you have to make a liaison with district authorities and collect all the information so that these details could be filled in time. Now the most important aspect of this campaign is activity you are conducting in your district. You must have received a letter from your daily headquarters that what type of activities you have to fill. You have to do in your district. Whatever activity you are doing in your district, you have to fill details of those activities in this web page or in this portal. After clicking on add activities, you will find there is select activity tab is there. In that one drop down menu is there, in which most of the activities which have been sent to you are mentioned here. If any of the activity is not there in this list, you are requested to send that name of that activity to us through mail, which I will give you after the presentation, so that we can edit this tab or edit the details of this tab. Even if that activity is not available in this tab, you can fill the details in others. After clicking on this any activity, now this interface of the portal will open. I have made this interface in 2 pages so that you can understand it easily. After selecting any activity, let us say you have selected activity of painting competition. Now for that activity you have to write location of the activity where this activity has been held, number of approximate participants who have participated in this activity, and 4 to 5 lines about the activity, what is the activity and how you have conducted the activities. Then the date of activities you can mention here, and after that you can upload the pages of photographs of the activity which you must have clicked during the activity. Upload these photographs. You can make certain videos of your activities and which you can upload on your Google Drive or on your YouTube, and the link of that drive or the YouTube you can write in this link of video tab. Then after completing the captcha, you can submit and enter the submit. Click on the submit button, and you will find this your activity, your details of that activity is saved in our database. Whenever any activity is being done in your district, it is advised, it is requested that I think you should upload the details of that activity as soon as possible. After completing all the details, after uploading all the details which you are having, you will log out from this website, and whenever next time you have to log in, you will use the new changed password. For your info, if somebody or could not understand my presentation properly, or if you want to see that presentation again and again, that presentation and the other presentation of on water conservation, on Catch the Rain, presentation of Fazia ma'am, presentation of Garima ma'am, these all are available in our website. In the front page of the website, you will find there is a tab Catch the Rain at the left side of the our website. After clicking on Catch the Rain, you will find this this interface will open, and all the material about Catch the Rain and this Jal Shakti Abhiyan to Catch the Rain campaign is available on this page. You can easily search these presentations, and this my presentation is also kept at the bottom of this interface. And other information, letters written to the district magistrate, IEC material in all the languages, everything is available on this web page at this interface. Even if you want to ask anything, you can contact our senior software programmer. If anybody is not picking up the phone because of certain reason, you can send a WhatsApp, you can send a SMS to them, they will revert back to you. Or if you want to give any information, you want to take any information, you can send us a mail on the catchtherain.nwm@gmail.com. Whatever information you wanted or any information you want to give, you can use this email ID. And otherwise, this PowerPoint presentation is always present in this website. You can anytime find out the phone numbers and the email ID given here. This all from my side. If any question is there, you can raise your hand, you can write in the chat box, and we will take your questions. One question is there, madam, please provide us all PPT presentation that will help us in many ways in carrying out activities at the ground. I have told you earlier, these all presentations are kept in our website in Catch the Rain tab. That interface I have shown you just a few seconds before. Any other question? Can you please show the path of IEC in the website again, which I have shown you? This question was, I think, mentioned before I started my PowerPoint presentation. Yes, this is kept in Catch the Rain tab in our website. Everything is, every material which we have shown it today, which are which is meant for Catch the Rain campaign is available in that web page. Garima, you can ask any other question from somebody.
Thank you, sir. If any of the participant has any questions, we'll take that. Madam, please provide us the PPT presentation. Yes, so all the presentations are, as sir has rightly mentioned, advisor sir, that they are already part and parcel of the website. You can immediately go there and refer to that. Plus, this particular session was also this session also went live on our Facebook, so you can also go back to our Facebook channel and refer back to the presentation if you need it. However, if you do not have any question, I'll request Ashok sir to give the closing remarks so that we can close today's session. Andy sir?
Ali, remove your sharing your presentation. Yeah.
Sunil sir, yes, thank you sir.
Okay. Thanks everybody. I think it was a good session. I hope that many of you at least could appreciate the spirit behind the Catch the Rain campaign, and you would be further motivated to create awareness and encourage people to rainwater harvesting structures. Please be assured that we will be available to help you out with all materials related to IEC activities, and also help-based things for the Nukkad Nadaks and other things. This will be all available in our website. Our website, as Sunilji had shown, has various folders for tweets, for social media campaign, for topics for discussions, topic for Nukkad Nadaks, small draft scripts for Nukkad Nadaks, etc. All these things are available. Have a look at it, and please feel free to download it and use it wherever you want. I feel that today's session would have been of great use to you, and if there are any doubts, you can please get back. I thank all of you for attending the program, and I hand over to Prabhat Kumar to make the final remarks, because he is our host.
Sir, thank you, sir. I have nothing more to say, except I think there was some connectivity problem in Northeast, so because of that, some people got disconnected. So I only request that those of you who had, seamless connectivity, please share your, particularly that MIS part, because that was very, very
No,
important.
actually, you don't have, because this will be available as a recording in your Facebook live, so they can have a look at that also.
Okay, sir. So, I'll not take much of time, and once again, I express my gratitude and thanks to Sri Ashok Kumar sir, who has been kind enough to spare his valuable time, and of course, the faculty member, Ms. Garima and Fauziya Madam, and of course, Sunil Kumar Arora ji, who has been, very methodical, particularly explaining the, nuances of MIS and all. So friends, on behalf of Nehru and Sangathan Headquarters, I also express my gratitude to State Director of Arunachal, Sikkim, Assam and Manipur for listening the entire proceedings so patiently, and all the district youth officers. So friends, ultimately it boils down to our performances in the field. So whatever we have learned.
And of course, you do a lot of work, but reporting is very important, because a lot of good work, but unless it comes back to us, it may not reflect. Reporting is very important. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. So we'll naturally convey this, and there'll be following of the matter, sir. So thank you once again to all of you. And I think, sir, now with your permission, should we wind this meeting? Should we wind up this meeting, sir?
Yes, yes, of course.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaskar, sir.
Thank you, everyone. I'm closing this meeting now.